Shopware knows that the era of the customer is started. If you understand the human being, and this is the title and this is the red thread through today, whoever understands a human being today will be successful in the future. He's been working for decades exactly on that question, how to understand a human being. And this is why he can actually look into the future on behalf of all of us. Here is the boss, the CEO, the founder, and a really good guy. Welcome, Stefan Hamann.
Dankeschön.
Thank you, thank you.
Ja, hello community und moin
Hello community and very good morning. I'm really happy to see that you have come in great numbers. You've come here in order to celebrate the Community Day under the title of Hello Community. Before we go into medias res, I would like to tell you a little personal story. This here, that's me. I think I was about 8 years old. Like many of you, I very early took an interest in aerospace. But it was not about foreign planets or aliens. It was much more about the technology behind. How did the engineers, scientists, and the researchers of NASA manage to construct and build an aerospace that could have a spot landing on the moon? How do all those controls and computers and transmission technologies behind work? I didn't only want to understand it, I wanted to comprehend what all this is about. And this here, that used to be my favorite playground. Uncle Willie's technical shop. Aside from the copy machines and typewriters and all the miracles of the 80s, I grew up next to the toner cartridges and the 16-inch discs. I spent a lot of time next to this shelf. This is where all the devices ended up that could no longer be repaired. Of course, it was me who checked that time and again because I didn't believe it. At the time, I was really sure that there was a passion of myself, and at some stage you will be standing on a big stage and telling people something about office machines. Fortunately enough, my interest stopped there, especially when after the PC 64 I got my first PC. The black-green screen became my own personal NASA command desk. I programmed a lot, back and forth, played a lot and tried out a lot. With the DOS commands, I actually ended up with a format command. After that, no longer anything new. This passion for technology is something that is still there today. The whole Shopware team, and especially my family, is well aware of that, and they could tell you more about it. So let us take a little bit of an excursion and ask the question, what is my private life today? What does it look like? The Hamanns, that's my wife and myself. Our 4 little children, they are here today as well. 1 dog, 1 cat, and 84 active network-compatible devices. 84 network-compatible devices in one single household. And if you ask my question as to whether you really need all these, my wife would definitely give you a clear answer to this question, namely, no. And as usual, she's right, because I too have to admit that a majority of those devices doesn't represent any added value. They're so superfluous for our daily life and actually boost our electricity bill. They would better be ending up in Uncle Willie's shelf. And I think I'm not the only one, our family are not the only ones, because this problem of product and technology which bypass the needs of human beings and have been developed in such a way is something we encounter in all areas of life, especially in e-commerce. You all know the situation. There's a new technology that's being presented, or a new product is being launched. The blogs of all the industries are over-enthusiastic, overnight. New experts are mushrooming. Enthusiasm is there, passion is there. The crucial question is asked, how damn it could e-commerce live without that cool nonsense? Is IT informed? Already, can our marketing suite handle that? How many hours, months, years would we need for the ultimate disruptive rollout that will solve all our problems? All that's bullshit, of course. What we need is more realism. And this includes as well the crucial question, namely, What is the degree of maturity of a technological idea, and does it make sense today to actually push that in such a way into my business strategy? This graph can help us to answer these questions. This is based on the hype cycle developed by Gartner. And what it describes is the degree of attention a technology can generate over the time period. Each technology goes through different cycles. We've got the technological trigger. Well, in most of the cases, that is the hype, and very often it's excessive expectations that are placed in this technology that cannot be fulfilled at this point of time. Then there is the valley of deception. There might be a follow-up technology or first improvements. Then there is the plateau of productivity, and then it will end up in the mainstream. So we'll probably end up having all that stuff in our households. And if then we look at the technological guiding themes in e-commerce and transfer them to this graph, we see one thing. There's only a minority of these developments that grew over and above the valley of deception and is on its way towards productivity. So there is a whole lot involved here that is still in the stage of research. And ultimately, all the products and services and the strategies we've got in our mind live through the same cycles. What you can retain is the assessment about the maturity of a technology is actually something done by a human being. It's a human being who decides if a product or technology can impose itself or if it has to end up in a technological bin. Now, what's important in this context? We have to develop a hands-on mentality. We have to really have a feel for not only following up on new technologies, but to try them out in order to assess as to whether this is something that can be adapted for me as a company, as a shopware operator, whether this is something that makes sense. This is what we do on a daily basis in Shopware. Not only my colleagues, but myself as well are involved here. So we decide what is the technical affinity and what can we actually take on board. That's only one side of the coin. The other side, the more important one, is your customers. And this interplay is something that a visionary we all know about has actually recognized quite early. He said the following, I quote, "You have to start off with a customer experience and then think what kind of technology aside from shopware will bring you to the target in the fastest way you can find." End of quote. As usual, it is only about the human being. It's about the experience we want to offer to this human being, and this has to be the center, the focus of our attention. Let me summarize. What we need is, on the one hand, yes, an absolute strategic openness for technological developments. We have to develop hand-on mentalities. We have to have a passion and fun in trying out things ourselves. On the other hand, we need absolute customer centricity. We have to focus at 100% on the customer's needs. Only once these two requirements are fulfilled, a technology and all the processes and ideas you come up with can actually be imposed in the market. The crucial factor remains the human being. This new era is the era of the customer. Age of the customer is what we call it. We, within Shopware, call it Hello Human, and we put the customer in the focus of all our considerations. Hello Human is not only the guiding theme of this year's Community Day. No, it stands for our underlying principle and thought within Shopware. Okay, let that sink in. As some of you know, quite often we take some little voyage or excursion from this place, and this is what we do here and today as well. We'll look into the near future before telling you what we have got in the pipeline brought along today. Now, when we come back to this idea I just mentioned, then automatically you will ask the question, what kind of technical developments will fulfill the needs of the users in the age of customers? What kind of megatrends will be dominant in the online trade of tomorrow? We within Shopware believe in 3 of these megatrends. So they're external factors, and they will be put head downwards in the e-commerce world. We are living in a highly emotional world. Customers want to do their shopping and have an emotional experience. And a very important customer experience is so crucial if you want to maintain your position in the e-commerce on the long run. The exponential increase of machine learning is something that will fundamentally change things we are used to. We will be released from routine work. In our daily work, we will focus much more on strategic components. And this will have an impact on the way how you will work in Shopware, but it will also lead to a situation where your customers hopefully will have more time in order to spend a lot of money in your shops. Then the global networking in all life situations. We're living in a world which further develops at tremendous speeds, but at the same time complexity and the degree of networking increases. Everything is linked to everything, and Shopware as a product has to perfectly fit in this changing world. What is good here is that for quite some time we have already been doing research in these three areas, and we can look at first solutions. We'll have new possibilities of setting a stage for products in the front end. We have got new ideas and approaches already for a totally new Shopware backend. And at the end, we'll come to the core of all things, and we will look and see what we intend to do with the Shopware core in the future. Now, I will show you what that means in particular. The product staging is a core discipline of Shopware. That's all what it is about. With the shopping world, or the storytelling is a reflection of that. So your products must be something that can be experienced by the visitors of your shops, by your customers. Because via these messages, via the setup and the appearance, customers' buying decisions are taken. This is a typical detail page of a product. You're all familiar with that. How can I attract a shop operator and make it more emotional? How can I make the products more palpable for our customers? Wouldn't it be a value added, a tremendous value added, if, like in a shop, I could try on this shoe in a virtual fashion, or could even go on a trial run? Let us take the sneaker and let us make a excursion into the future. What could a vision look like? This is Aaron. He will use these tiny spectacles, and we'll see now what Aaron is seeing. So we're finding ourselves in a suburb, and this sneaker we just saw on the detail page, this one, he just tries it on, so you can actually get a feel for the sneakers and can actually feel what it looks like on his feet, and he can use the shoe in a virtual way. This is quite an experience, because what it is about is the customer experience. We don't believe in a future where VR or HR, or where it is about replicating in a virtual way any shops. This is bypassing the customer. We think this is a technology which in a very intensive way has to focus on customer experience. What we just saw, of course, is still not here yet. That is a vision for the future. It would be good to have a comfortable version of the spectacles at home, but that will take some time. That's not something that's going to happen overnight. So we asked the question, what is the first big added value we can do for product staging on a web page? The product presentation in 3D has been existing for some time, but this is happening for technical or content reasons and has not happened in online shops today. But there are advantages. The customer will get a more spatial idea of products. So what we said is we need to find a solution for the Shopware universe of today. This solution, the 3D presentation of your products, will work on mobile terminal sets. So I can do a finger touch, turn the product, open the product on full screen. I can enter into each detail or facet of the product. I can immediately get a totally different feel, a spatial feel of the product as well, and see whether this is the product I've always been looking for. But I can also map it on the shopping world. Different scenarios can be chosen. They can be placed around the product in order to trigger an emotional value or experience. So the sneaker can actually link to a scenario or a scene which is ever so exciting for the customer at first sight. So this is pretty impressive, I feel. But even more impressive is the fact that it is not just about a technical demonstration. No, this is something that works already 100% in Shopware. So what you see here, that's the plugin that's responsible. That's a fully fledged 3D editor in Shopware. This is where you can actually include those models, place them, illuminate them, and then use them in your Shopware system. All that is available on GitHub for you free of charge as of now. Now, we just heard technology is not everything. There's a crucial question aside from technology. Where do I get high-quality 3D models of the product from? And we tried out several things, and there's one potential option we have selected. This is the 3D RTEC scanner. This is a scanner that helps me to scan the product in seconds, in fractions of seconds. I get a high-quality 3D model of the product in my computer, and without any rework, I can actually put it onto the shopping world page in Shopware. This happens so quickly that we actually have the time to scan myself, and you can actually get the Stefan Hamann 3D model for 149 euros at the Shopware stand. No, I'm not joking. The scanners are pretty dear when you buy them, but the prices will fall. And furthermore, there are other options to make sure that qualitative content, 3D content of new products is being developed. Stefan Pohl, my colleague, has prepared a speech, and here he will explain to you what the different options and possibilities are. Let me summarize. The 3D technology has the potential to offer new dimensions to the customer. It is a tremendous value added, and some of you might have listened to the keynote from Apple. As of next year, hundreds of millions of iOS devices will be around. Augmented reality will be supported, and we have to adjust to it. This is the point in time today where we really have to think about all these topics, and they will be ever so exciting. From the technical point of view, all that is fully integrated in Shopware. And we thought about the strategies. What could be the strategies in order to get hold of the contents aside from the 3D scanner? There are low-cost possibilities, which will be presented by Stefan later on. All that is available on GitHub as of now. You can try it out, get the experience, and then use it in your projects. Now, let us come to the next area,
which is the Shopware backend. Now, the backend has always been extremely important for us, and I think it's not just an administration surface for us, but your day-to-day work needs to be as productive and as comfortable as possible using that. So we thought, well, if we were to start right from the beginning, if we were to put you as users into the center, what exactly would you expect from a new Shopware backend? In order to learn about that, we observed you, we asked you, and we put ourselves into your shoes. So we got an enormous amount of feedback on this, and thank you very, very much for that feedback. And it became clear very quickly that we don't have the specific target groups using the backend, but there are very many diverse people using the backend, people with different levels of technical experience, different levels of Shopware experience. So they have very diverse tasks that they need to handle with the backend, and these tasks can also change over time. So our mission, therefore, is to create a backend which is optimally adjusted to your needs and which offers each and every one of you individual support in your job. And there are 3 examples that we've brought along to show what the direction is that we are moving in, and we are now taking a look at this. The first 2 examples are very much related to productivity, and essential core aspects of the new backend is that your individual assignments and tasks can be processed as quickly and comfortably as possible. So this backend is to be tuned perfectly to you as the user. Let's take a look at it. Well, our designers are still working on the final layout, as you can see very easily here. But one important pillar for the new backend is something that we can already look at. The menu, of course, will be given a new position in the backend because there needs to be more room for you to work on or to work in. The menu, as it were, is the interface to the various functions that we offer from Shopware. Basically, so far it's been fixed, it's been set in its structure, and we think it's no longer useful to do it that way. The menu needs to be able to adjust to your needs, and it needs to be able to be adjusted to your needs. And you have various and diverse tasks that you want to use the backend for, and the backend needs to be able to learn and to adjust to your needs. What could this look like? Well, we'll see. In this case, we have a person working in marketing, and the backend has understood over time that here the marketing functions are most important in Shopware. So we have got menu points which are rarely used, will then be actually deleted so that you can quickly focus on those functions that you need in your day-to-day work. Click paths will be reduced so that you have higher productivity. And then, of course, all of this can be folded up in order to create even more space, so the menu is clearly reduced compared to what it was before. Now, another issue which goes in a similar direction is the search. The search will play an important fundamental role in the new backend. It will be very much exposed in the way it appears, and like Spotlight, the Apple users know that similar to Spotlight, it will find anything that happens in Shopware, irrespective of whether it's products, content, or functions, or plugins, or support articles or searches. So you can quickly come to the results that you need. And also the search will be intelligent and learning. It will adjust to you as human beings and will then quickly find the things that are important to you, for instance, in marketing. Those things that you worked on last, the functions that you call up frequently, will be given a higher position, so that very swiftly you will be able to get to the required result. Well, the objective linked to that is to make sure that the backend is no longer our backend, but it's your backend then, so that it can be individually adjusted to you and your functions, that it needs to be a learning backend, and it needs to do this smartly. Intelligence really is a very good transition to the third example that I wanted to show, because this is something that we look into here. It's about knowledge, it's about your knowledge. Each and every one of you brings in a lot of practical experience with Shopware, and hopefully use this experience in order to actually create very successful Shopware shops. And we firmly believe that it might be very, very advantageous and beneficial to everybody if we could pool this knowledge in order to then come to action strategies for everybody. How could this look like in the new backend? Let's take a look. Well, how cool would it be if the Shopware backend here could also be thinking and learning, and also point out specialties in the shop? It's not to be done in a trivial way, though, but we want to do this smartly with recommendations for action. Let's take the following example. You had a wonderful weekend, and then on Monday morning you get into the office, you call up the backend, and you've got this small smart thing here, and it points out that there is a certain category where you had an over-average amount of visits, so a virtual clap on your shoulder, and then you click on, and then you can see that at the same time that the conversion rate does not reflect the success. Your conversion rate in this example was clearly below the average of comparable Shopware shops of the same industry. So that is a problem that has been pointed out, but this is not the end of the story. The system is then able to provide you with intelligent recommendations for action in order to resolve the problem. Now, in this case, there was a problem in the checkout. Possibly there might not be a useful set of payment options. For instance, PayPal could be activated because that is quite popular. This could then influence the conversion rate. But the system can also look at the entire marketing area and support you. over the weekend, of course, it might have discovered that certain product combinations were put into the shopping basket and were not bought then. And for these product combinations, of course, then the system recommends that there should be a change, and the bundle should be inserted. And then you can also get a concrete proposal for such a bundle, that is, those products which are frequently combined in the basket could be bundled. Of course, you have to look at the readiness to buy on the one hand and the management of the margin. On the other hand, of course, you can then process the bundle as the shop operator, or you can simply save it and store it. Right, our objective, as it were, is to have a self-learning platform. That we want to create a platform where we have a pool of practical knowledge in order to enable you to compare to other shopware shops. That is, to have a day-to-day benchmark that you can compare to see where you need optimization, but it also needs to give you helpful indications to enable you for this optimization potential to be perfectly used for your shopware shops. The big target at this point here is to get cooler on a daily basis, as it were. With the new backend, exclusively, you are at the center of concern. The backend is to become more productive. We want to make sure that you have fewer clicks that you need to execute, so that the backend is smartly tuned to your needs, so that it becomes your backend. Now, intelligence, of course, plays a major role. I mean, the entire benchmark is important, but over beyond that, the system is to think along, is to give you active support, provide you with recommendations as to the points where you need optimization. And also openness, of course, is a very important question when it comes to the new backend, because with the new Shopware backend, we will no longer have extra JS, but we will exclusively have open web technologies. I was very certain that you liked it. So we will no longer rely on XJS, but we will only exclusively rely on open web technologies. Openness, of course, is a very good buzzword. It's not only a core strategy in Shopware, but it's also the basic philosophy behind the Shopware core. So let's then move on to the core of the matter. The core of Shopware, of course, without any doubt, is the very basis of our success. And on top of that, that is also my favorite subject. And let me say straight away, we will set up a completely new core, develop a completely new core, because in a volatile world, of course, with ever faster innovation cycles, the core going forward will have to be able to fulfill many more requirements than before. Therefore, for the new Shopware core, we have focused on 4 essential areas that we want to look at now. The new core, right from the beginning, is to be a cloud product. It will no longer be important whether we have a Shopware in our own infrastructure or whether it's run on the hosting partner of your choice. It will even be possible to migrate between the two worlds. The cloud also means that this is not only a hosting scenario, but we also look at the issue of networking. That is your networking in particular, because the new core will, of course, massively look at APIs and rely on APIs and interfaces. And the intelligence and the logic of Shopware will be used seamlessly in your business processes without any problems. Any functionality that we've got in Shopware can then also be used externally, and you can work with that without any problem. Every Shopware project is different, of course, and every Shopware project, of course, requires very diverse levels of adjustment. So one objective needs to be for this new core to be as small and as compact as possible. At the same time, however, it needs to be extremely modular in its setup, so that you are able, for each facet of your Shopware functionalities, to be adjusted to your own needs. In order to enable this to happen, a very important step was to look at the foundation of Shopware. And here, we have a very fundamental decision that we have made in the true sense of the term, because going forward we will fully rely on Symfony 3 as a basis for Shopware. And for us, well, and for us, this is beneficial, and also to you and to the entire community. It's a lot of value added, because in one go, the size of ecosystems in Shopware can be expanded. We've got thousands of Symfony developments and bundles that can be seamlessly migrated to the Shopware world. And the various paradigms that Symfony includes will be included in Shopware. This will be useful for more quality in the plugins and also shorter adjustment times when it comes to your projects. And everything that we will turn upside down here in this context, and this will concern a lot of things, will be taken a look at. We'll have the various versions, and we will look at the baskets and the ordering process, and in particular also the entire issue of internationalization. And at the same time, this step, of course, also is a clear creed towards open source management, because we think that open software is a basic precondition and also the reply to the fast development that we see these days. And this is not only an issue that the developers are pushing here in this room and that concerns the developers in the community. No, this will be very beneficial to all of us. Now, later, of course, you can ask all the questions with the exception of when will this happen, Stefan? Even if I knew, I wouldn't tell you. However, as of now, of course, you will be kept updated on the progress made, and for this purpose we have set up a new strategic roadmap. It's been put online, and here you can get a detailed overview of the various projects that we have working on. You can see in great detail what we are researching, what are the things that we are working on, what may you expect over the next few weeks or months. Expect from Shopware, of course. Well, my colleague Marcel Schming actually insisted that we actually use this photo of him. Marcel will give a technical keynote later on, and he will give you more in-depth details. He will show you exactly what this means, what kind of technical changes will be made in the core and in the backend, and of course he will not disclose all the secrets today, but some. And I think now you've got a very good idea of where Shopware is going to over the next few months. But for you to be able to focus fully on the here and now, I would like to introduce somebody whom we're all familiar with, and I've asked him to actually reset your brains for the second part of the keynote. Agent J, could you please come up on stage? Are you all back? So, where did we interrupt? Yes, Shopware, without any doubt, is the globally best shop system. So after this keynote, why don't you go to the sales stand and sign the contract for the Enterprise Edition, and everything will be fine. I like it when you like it, because for all those who are not yet decided, I mean, we've got very cool new products and functions that we've brought along, and we will take a closer look at these now. I would like to begin with the best new development, that is the Enterprise Edition. Just imagine Shopware Enterprise were to be a modern rocket, then of course, even with its basic standard design, it is very versatile and diverse and can be used for very complex jobs. You can even go to very far-reaching goals. And you're also incredibly fast with your products. You can make your projects go online very quickly. And you're very agile, and enterprise can also be adjusted to your own business processes. It can be modified easily. And in particular, the whole rocket, of course, is very pragmatic in its setup. There are lots of people who know about it. There are lots of rocket scientists and developers to help you out to have successful projects with Shopware Enterprise. Now, this rocket, of course, is even better than that. We've got the so-called accelerators, and these are modular add-ons with a framework approach always, of course, perfectly geared to your projects, which you can use for your specific objectives to be reached more elegantly. And then we've got the shop integration and the marketplaces. So in other words, you can have digitized business structures and mapped in Shopware. Even entire marketplace scenarios can be realized. We've got the enterprise search, which is a top quality search for the relevant area. Together with our partner, we will develop this. And then we've got the B2B suite, and basically that is a perfect link between the emotional shopping experience of Shopware and the processes that are so relevant in the B2B world. The B2B suite is available as of today. And I came up with a little example in order to explain how cool these options are. Now let's take the following simplified organizational setup of Shopware. We've got Melanie, and she works at the reception. And she may make orders for 500 euros a month. And her direct superior, Ralph, may spend up to 2,000 euros per order. And anything that goes on top of that, that includes my own orders, will have to be approved by myself. Now, let's take the following scenario. There is an absolute crisis situation. The fridge with the beverages is empty. No beer, no 15 different types of lemonade. So everybody's come to a halt. And we've got the B2B suite, and our supplier is fully digitized on this basis, and we can now see how Melanie at the reception then comes to terms with this problem. So she logs into the Shopware shop of our supplier. She goes to the listing, and then she finds, okay, actually I've been working so long for Shopware that I can actually know all of these numbers by heart. So she moves over to the fast ordering screen, where she very quickly can then look at the products that she needs to order very quickly. So we need a bit of water, we need Coke, never a mistake to have some Coke, and Club Mart, and all of these lemonades that we need, then a bit of beer, and for some reason, I don't know, we also need champagne, but we'll come back to that later. So all of this is then put into the shopping basket, so she goes over to the checkout, and then she finds that this order exceeds her approved volume. So she has to send this for approval, and Ralph gets an email, gets information, and then he also logs into the shop, and he sees the order immediately, looks at the details, and then moves over into the position screen. And then he does something crazy. He might think, well, 2017, well, we had such a success in Shopware, we need more champagne. He might come up with that idea. And he then also exceeds his order limit, clearly. So it all ends up at my desk. So I look at the statistics, and I can see something is wrong. How can you spend 10,000 euros on drinks and beverages? I have to take a closer look at the details. So I also move into the order list. I can see what I need to approve here. I look at the various items, and then I discover this item with the champagne. And frankly, people, I prefer beer, and we don't drink champagne at Shopware. So, okay, out it goes. And then I will send them a comment to preclude any repetition. And then, of course, this can be dispatched to the supplier so that they can process it. Okay, what we've seen here were some essential facets of the new B2B suite. Your customers have the option for their organizational structures to be mapped in Shopware. So they can also attach roles and authorities, who is in charge of what, who requires approval. You can also have release and approval processes. You can actually allocate budgets and quotas, and you can map exactly what is required by your own business model. So it's a framework. That's the way it's been conceived. So the idea is for you and your partners to adjust this to your structures, because every B2B project is different and it requires adjustment. So it's super documented. There is a developer kit which you can get on request so that you can very quickly get this going. Anything else that's related to Shopware the Enterprise Rocket will be explained to you by our rocket scientist, Daniel Nögel will tell you about the new search engine and also the B2B suite. And Philipp Scharlau will tell, and Elke Klein-Ridder will take you on a short trip in digitization. They will show you how, with the shop integration, you can actually translate your processes into the new Shopware world. Now the core product. Who of you recalls the keynote tour for the introduction of Shopware 5? Maybe you even saw the movie. Could you please raise your hands? Well, some of you didn't see it. So let's take another look at the film in a summary.
So, alle wieder wach.
Okay, everybody's awake now. Okay, Shopware 5 was developed in order to enable your customers, the consumers, to have an emotional shopping experience, irrespective what kind of what kind of device they want to use for purchasing in your shop. And since the introduction of Shopware 5, we have had the same basis with every release. We try to improve this function all the time in order to develop the experience for customers. And also 5.3 will be introduced today. Of course, we'll have many functions that will have to do with the customer experience. And 3 of these new functions are functions that we're going to look at now. This young lady here, I think we already met her earlier. Now she has looked at this wonderful 3D shoe, which was so cool. She actually dropped over backwards, and then she calmed down, and now she is really has to have some chocolate. Now, what does she do? She changes into the product listing of another Shopware shop in order to get an overview of the chocolate offer that they have. So, what's important for her, the person in this context, that is in context with the product listing? Now, the listing is to inspire her, of course. She doesn't want to have reloads of pages. She doesn't want to be torn out of the listing. So it's important for her to get a quick overview of the product range on offer. And there are filters and sortings, and she wants to have the entire product range reduced to the subset that she's interested in as a human being at that point in time. And of course, for each bar of chocolate, she doesn't want to have to go to the detailed pages. She wants to get all the relevant details from the listing immediately. So let's take a look what we did in this context. Here you can see a product listing from the Shopware world. Here on the left-hand side, you've got a filter option. You can then set it to where it's supposed to take place. If you want to activate the filler, you can see immediately what combinations are removed. So you can also put the products directly from the listing into the shopping basket. You don't have to go to the detailed page, and you can also do this with the so-called quick views. This is the top quality graphical view of the product, and also here you can use the variant support in order to put the products directly into the shopping basket. So the customers here have the opportunity for the listing to actually be experienced well. No reloads happen. Everything happens in real time. So it all feels quick and nice and comfortable, and it's fun to work in the listing. You as a shop operator, of course, you can put in your own sortings and your own filters, which are a good match for what you've got in the category. And customers can then buy directly from the listing. They don't have to go through this other process. They don't have to leave that page and go to the detailed page. And once again, this is focused on customer experience. We want to also make it possible to have a perfect customer experience even in the listing. And of course, experience is very much related to what I'm going to talk about next. With the Shopware shopping worlds, of course, this is what it's all about. We want to offer a good experience to customers. The customers are to be immersed in their products. We want them to be able to experience the products. And of course, we do this in order to do this. Of course, we create an emotional context. Emotionality is very important. So it's ever so important that we have a very stylish graphical display in order to actually trigger a good effect in customers. And of course, nothing works, nothing goes here without the right content and the right ideas. And we have developed a good solution to resolve this problem. So we've got a template function that we've created. There are 7 standard templates which are part of the Shopware standard design, and this could be the first approach in order to work with shopping worlds professionally. They all look nice, and ultimately all you have to do is adjust your products and the text in order to start this. But you can also export your own shopping worlds and re-import them, and that is something that, of course, has a lot of potential in order to more exciting things. Let's take a look. Let's say you've got your shop, and you've got the various templates that you have created yourselves, and these templates can then be dispatched to other Shopware shops that you might operate. You can distribute them in order to have a uniform brand appearance. And also the reverse path is feasible. So your Shopware agency or your partner might have finished shopping worlds, and you don't have to do the graphics any longer. You can actually focus on the content alone, and then you get the finished shopping world as a kind of a zip file delivered to your shop. And also the community store will play a role. That will be the platform for the various finished templates to be offered. You can get an overview of the templates that we have, and then with a click of the button, you can then transport it or migrate it to your shopware. So we've got standard templates that you can use immediately, and they're very fashionable, they look good, and this is to lower the threshold. Of course, you're not supposed to work exclusively with these templates. This is just a first trigger in order to give you the opportunity to start working on this issue. And the shopping worlds, of course, can be exported and re-imported as you like for the same shop, but you can also include other shops and equip them with your shopping worlds. Now, the overall objective is to have shopping worlds which are more attractive so that they can trigger emotional good emotional experiences in the customers, so that they don't have to end up screaming. So we need to have an emotional experience while shopping. So that is the focus. So that is the customer experience. The human person has to be at the center, once again. Now the third feature, the third function, has to do with the day-to-day motto. Let's assume the following scenario. I'm a fashion shop and I want to set up a trend collection. Of course, you can do this with the product streams in Shopware. The product streams are a simple path for making sure that products can be dynamically sorted and combined according to certain criteria. Let's assume the following stream. I want to choose all the T-shirts for women purchasers, and they need to be new in the product range, and you want to focus on the Chiemsee brand. Now, with these T-shirts, you then want to go into advertising. Normally, of course, you'd do a bit everywhere, so you would actually have this rain onto your customers until one of the fish actually gobbles the bait. But we thought this could be done more smartly. So this is a possible solution. So these are the customers that we focus on in this example, and we then filter them according to conditions. We only want to address women and customers who bought in my Shopware shop recently only, and women customers who bought these T-shirts, that is the top quality T-shirts of that particular brand. And then you have a subset of customers that is then actually the result of that filtering process, and then you can work on that subset. So you could then give them an individual newsletter sent to them with these products from the product stream, from the trend collection, and that might be of interest to those customers that you have filtered out beforehand. You can also, for instance, give them an individual voucher code, so as an incentive for them to buy, and these customers would then also get a personalized start page as soon as they call up my Shopware shop next time. They will be seeing the Shopware trend collection immediately. This cool feature is what we call customer streams. And as of Shopware 5.3, this is part free of charge of the standard. Okay, let's summarize this. So you've got the option, similar to the products, to actually combine your customs dynamically according to your own criteria. Very diverse criteria, simple criteria such as gender, but you can also have more complex criteria. All customers who have bought accessories of Apple products are to be chosen in order to recommend new accessories to them. So here you have an unlimited amount of possibilities. These customer streams, this selection of customers can then be used for targeted marketing, so that you do not tell everything to everyone, but you supply the relevant information to the relevant customer group. And then you have the opportunity for your start page, the entry page, to be personalized. So the customer actually calls on this start page, and they then get the information that is tuned to them. And this combination of dynamic product streams and the new customer streams will enable you to reap a lot of potential in direct customer address, and this is a considerable value added. Sebastian later on will tell you more about the many more cool functions of 5.3 here from the main stage. It's not everything yet, because 5.3 as of now is available as a release candidate. So you can simply download it, try it out, or you can experience it live here at the Shopware stand today. You can test it, you can try it out. So that's it from my side, I believe. One more important and decisive thing is something that I would like to tell you at the end. All those who have already worked with Shopware know that you have to sometimes clear the cache. And that is something that we also should do ourselves. And here I'm not trying to say that you should forget everything that you've just heard. No, this is about creating space for new things. So here today, in the session rooms, on the main stage, try and take up as many new ideas and fresh ideas around the Shopware environment as you can. So networking is very important. Enjoy it. And you've got lots of partners here and shop operators. Enjoy the evening tonight together with us at the Bamboo. Shopware stands for technological openness and absolute customer focus. So you are our community, and this is our day. So enjoy it. Thank you very much.